I am still long and strong on Bitcoin, looking for another rise to come here. I'm going to be talking you through why, where, and how we can be looking for this Bitcoin rise. I hope that you really look forward to learning in this video, understanding the market movements, and preparing yourself for wonderful profits with the champions. Big smile on my face. I want to help you, and let's get straight into business here. So yeah, the Bitcoin chart, what a rise it has been. I mean, honestly, from the overall low, what a rise it's been. From those double bottom lows at $74,000. Myself, I did not long the low here at $75,000. I actually waited for the market structure change after we put in here a low, high, higher low, higher high. My entry of the long was, of course, at $79,000, as I've been telling you in my last few YouTube videos. The last one actually was talking about the swing failure pattern at the time of $89,000, and how I was explaining I am not shorting the swing failure pattern. I am expecting a short squeeze continuation here, and that was the... Well, that was on the money. That was on the ball as we done the swing failure pattern, and it ended in, safe to say, a short squeeze to the upside as we squeezed from $89,000 into the range that we were at $94,000. And as I've been telling my team way back since we broke out of $83,000, for me, it is no short trade yet. Each level we've hit, I've not said it's a bearish reaction. It's actually still good for bullish continuation. Each and every level hit for me has been remaining the same, as I've been, pinpointing this over on over on X. Even when we've formed some people might consider bearish patterns, such as descending triangles, everything for me has just been a long opportunity. Whether it's on Bitcoin or whether it's on some of my favorite altcoins, such as Solana, Bonk, and Pepe. Drops for me are long opportunities, and off the back of this descending triangle, we got the drops into support for the perfect buying opportunities that we're being ready and waiting for. So for me, ever since then, it's the same. Not shorting these highs, still thinking we're going higher, and you can see here throughout yesterday, once again, still believe we're going to go higher. Looking for the Shark Harmonic target, still no short trade. Still no short trade for me, even on the pullback. 96k is now really important support. Again, still no short trade taken. Believe we're going to go higher. For me, it's a very, very simple analysis here. Well, not necessarily, I suppose, simple, because it requires a good understanding of the market, which of course is not is not simple. But through my experience, I've recognized that each time we've hit some levels of interest, it's not like we went from $75,000 to $97,000, and there has been no places of interest for a short. Of course, I have had levels of interest where I have an alert set and I'll ready and wait for the reaction there, and if it is bearish, I'll take a short trade. But each time we've hit many significant levels on the rise here, my thoughts has been the same. I'm not taking the short trade. It's not for me a bearish reaction, and I am expecting price to continue up higher than towards the next target. And thus far, each time we've gone on to hit that next target, I've been looking for continuation. So it's been very nice to not short any of the rise and remain in my longs from $79,000. And in fact, actually compounding some longs and adding into altcoins. I've played the trend very nicely, and that's what I aim to teach you to do, whether it's via here on YouTube or, of course, much more focused and regular daily updates for the champions, be it via live streams, where I've done a live stream yesterday talking them through why the level at $96,000, this was another key level for us. We've actually been looking for 96,000 for a long time. The past few weeks, it's been a key target. And then on Thursday morning, the day prior to, actually the day of hitting $96,500, I go on to explain, I'm expecting a short squeeze through this level. For me, $96,000, $96,500 became so widely recognized as this short opportunity. I was saying, just as I thought with the $89,000 swing failure pattern, it's going to end in a bad short. There might be that slight opportunity to reel in some more short trades, but ultimately I expect that level to be broken and we will breach on upwards to $98,000. So it's the exact same theory as I was talking through, a few weeks ago with the swing failure pattern. I thought that swing failure pattern, such an obvious and easy trade, might get the first initial reaction, but we will just use that to view other market participants opening shorts to squeeze right through $90,000. And that is exactly what happened. And then yesterday, upon seeing the range, the massive bullish divergences that we had within this range. In fact, I will go into the video where I was talking about the harmonic, crazy big bullish divergences. There you go. You see here? Massive bullish divergences that we were forming. We had, of course, at the time, a bit of a triangle here as well, which is a bullish continuation symmetrical triangle. We just had everything pointing towards further upside. And then at that $96,000 zone became just such an easy, obvious short trade. I expected the squeeze through, and that is exactly what happened. But it's not only expecting that, it's then upon seeing $96,000 telling the champions that I've not shorted. Like, these are the timestamps, you can go check for yourself. This is just as you're getting actually a rejection. Okay, you get an initial rejection from $96,000, right? So you get a initial pullback. You know how many people at this point are going to be, fearful, entering their short trades, thinking, oh God, we've got a rejection from $96,500. Let me short here, stop loss above the high. And again, I'm not giving financial advice, but I'm sharing my opinion here and my thoughts, and that is, well, I'm not shorting here. I believe we're going to go on to make another new high, and then each time it's the same for me. That daily at the harmonic target, which is around $98,000, is my next big target. So that's basically a summary of what's happened since my last video and yesterday's rise, and why I continue to look for higher. So I have a lovely actually Shark Harmonic target that I'm very interested in right now, and that actually sits at around $98,000, and we can see we have a daily there at $98,300. What I want to do here is jump out to the daily and just talk about like the highs. So I think this resistance clearly starts from the Fibonacci targets of the Shark Harmonic at $98,000, and we have the daily and a daily naked point of control around $98,300, and our last major previous high there, you can actually see comes in at $99,500, you can call it. So that's where I really am looking for the next short trade. Okay, between 98, we could say $99,000, that little $1,000 zone there of the short. And for me, this is how I trade every single level. Okay, first of all, I want to say here you can see on the chart, man, there's 20 levels here. I will mark out all my levels. But of these 20 levels, I only actually have interest in trading about 3 of these levels. So the other levels are just, I don't want to forget, for example, that there is a daily naked point of control here. I don't want to forget, so I have it marked out, but I already know and share, right? This is not a level I want to even trade. So of the 20 levels I have marked out, there's only 3 levels of interest, maybe 4 levels of interest where I would actually trade. And upon hitting one of those 4 levels is where I go in and make those kind of informed decisions. So we hit the level of interest, and I'll come over and monitor the order flow. And this is where, I'm analyzing and making that decision of, okay, do we have good enough volume, CVD, delta? What's the open interest doing within this? Okay, how much time is each candle taking? Because this is a volume chart. This is a 10 million volume chart I'm actually using here, you can see. So I want to take into consideration the time each candle is taking to print and the trade counts within that. And essentially, this is then how you make the informed decision. You have a big level of $69,000. Sorry, no, $96,000. You have a big level of $96,000. I'm so used to 2021 all-time high, $69,000. $96,000. You hit that level, and if you don't have the order flow, you're trading blind, right? You're like thinking to yourself, okay, we've hit 96,300 and we've got a pullback. What are you? How can you make a decision without all of the order flow? I think your decision is very limited. You're missing so much important information that without the order flow, it's almost guessing. You're almost guessing, okay, we've rejected 96,300. Is this going to end in a full-blown reversal? Is this a strong, healthy rise to the upside? Should I be shorting after that rejection? Should I be, remaining patient for higher? The only way you can know is with the order flow. And that is why when we hit these important levels of interest, my next will be $98,000. I will review the order flow. And as always, then let the champions know, is that a short trade based off of that reaction? Or like here, we hit the key level, and no, I've not shorted. Okay, people can do the information whatever they want, right? But for me, yeah, not shorted. And you can clearly see, I've been making the right decisions time and time again over the past few weeks, because from the reclaim here on the 13th of April to here on the 2nd of May, I've not taken a single short trade on Bitcoin. And it's only through the understanding of context, the understanding of the big key levels, and then the order flow reaction at those levels. That's the only way I've avoided taking shorts. And that's the same on my altcoins that I've been trading. It's the same on Bitcoin, no shorts across the board. I've actually managed to get in some extra long trades, compounding long trades, during this rise. So, I just wanted to, really emphasize there that if you like what you see here and you like, well, how is this guy able to understand, these are buying opportunities? How did he know to buy the dip at $92,000, right? Hey, I'm seeing these ascending triangles. Isn't that bearish? How can you be confident to view it as long opportunities? How can you be confident when you hit massive key levels not to short them? Because I know a lot of inexperienced traders, right? They're going to be taking loads of short trades. They're hitting 96,000. They're seeing that rejection. They're entering their short trades. They haven't bought any of the dips, which have been really big buying opportunities because of the fear. They don't understand the levels fully. And so, if you like what you see here on the YouTube videos, well, you get that times 100 within the champion membership, right? With the daily live stream updates, talking you through live in the time, the order flow, how that equals making these decisions before it's even happened. You get the full understanding, the context, the trades, everything, you get ahead of the time, right? So it's a bit better than, here on YouTube having to listen to it after the fact. But hey, you can still learn from these videos. Which is why you're here. And yeah, you get the understanding now of where I'm looking for next, why I'm looking for that next, and looking at the order flow here, understanding that I still feel there's a very high probability that we will increase higher in price. Right? Locally on the lower term time frame, we're forming the exact same pattern on a smaller scale. Here we put in a bit of a symmetrical triangle, right? We're really signified by just higher lows, and then you obviously put in here a series of lower highs, so you had a bit of a triangle type pattern, which could have continued going more sideways, and obviously in the end broke out. And on a lower term time frame, you're doing something very similar, right? So you just simply can see series of lower highs here. You can simply see a series of higher lows. So type of symmetrical triangle structure. And, these are generally considered for continuation, so to the upside. But of course, you pair it with the order flow, which is where you make your real decisions here. And it seems likely that we will get continuation to the upside. Would be great during New York session. With the strength that we're seeing in the stocks as well. So you saw a bit of a pullback last night on the stocks, and Bitcoin held up really well. So yeah, to summarize here, I'll share actually with what I shared in the Champions group earlier, right? So I still believe the harmonic target is coming around $98,000. We saw a brilliant breakout yesterday. We really want to see the previous range value area high holds for continuation. We could get a little bit more precise, and I was also showing this already in the Champions group, but $96,000 is key for me. I'd like to see that maintained. That would be our first initial sign of weakness if we are to lose 96K. But for now, everything's looking good. The plan is intact, and what I practice myself is, I don't want to be changing around my plans or going, 1 minute bullish, 1 minute bearish. I want to maintain a plan and the idea that I have until it's invalidated. Again, if the plan is invalidated, well, then I have to react off the invalidation. And that was a really great example, because we actually went sideways here for a total of 8 days. Okay, so 8 days sideways. But I knew at this point, well, I massively think that we're going to hit $96,000. That is where we had a big, important range point of control. So during this 8 days sideways period, I had such a strong bias of, we are going to go higher. The likelihood of front running such a key level is so low for me, combined with the context, which is already bullish. The plan is we are going to go higher. And of course, if we had broke down and lost $91,000, well, then I would have had to have said, guys, I've made a massive mistake here. I've totally messed up on this. I missed the short. I misread the market. Thankfully, that didn't happen and I read it right? But I could have made a mistake. And so it's having that invalidation of knowing when you're wrong, and then I would adjust my plan. But during, the same here as the same when this 8-day sideways periods, my plan was we're going to go higher. I have the stats, the statistics, based off of previous trading examples of this, that it will go higher. I have the current context of the data, it's going to go higher. And so you pair all these things together, you use all that experience, the intuition, the statistics, that you have a very, very high probability of what the market's going to do next. Okay, there's no guarantee, and that's why you have more of an invalidation level, which says, yeah, you were wrong on this example. Okay, but thankfully, actually, 9 times out of 10, I'm right. But the 1 out of 10 times when I'm wrong, I need to know when I'm wrong. And that's why it's healthy and good to have these levels of invalidation. And so, right now, I think it's a very high probability that we're going to breach up again. On the off chance that I'm wrong, I would say that the real weakness comes below the previous range value area high. A minor sign of weakness below 96k, but the bigger one lost at the previous range value area high. Well, this is maintained. All the probabilities for me line up for higher. And then again, I will make the informed decision once we get higher, just as when we hit $96,000. Sorry, it was an informed decision at the end of the day. We could have hit that level and got a full-on rejection. Absolutely, we could. But we hit the level. You make the informed decision instead of thinking, okay, it's a full-blown rejection and I'll enter short trades. No, it was, I'm not shorting this high. The rejection's not big enough. I'll look on higher again. It's the same here. We hit $98,000. Maybe there is no rejection, and I'll look on towards $103,000, right? Or alternatively, we hit that level, we finally get a big bearish reaction, and I'll enter my shorts, and I'll let the Discord know that finally, I'm taking a swing short trade here on Bitcoin. I mean that this is. I don't want to say that my way of trading is the best way of trading. I know that there's a million traders out there with their own strategies, their own ways, and they're profitable. And I congratulate everybody that makes profit in this market because it's not easy. But what I do know is the strategy that I use is you can replicate it. It's something you can learn. It's not something that's mysterious or something that I want to keep to myself. I want to teach as many people as possible this strategy. It has proven results. We have had thousands of people come into the mentorship, learn, excel, and become self-sufficient, profitable traders. That's the goal here, and it is realized by many, many people that go through our course. Of course, it goes without saying, there will be some people that come into the course and just absolutely fail. Be it they just... Of course, there's several different reasons. A lot of people, honestly, are just very lazy. To be honest with you, they are lazy. They will come in looking for the signals. They just want to know, basically, okay, Daniel's taking the short, I want to short. They come in there for the signals, and there's never going to be. You're never going to become a self-sufficient, profitable trader. You actually could totally lose money by just trying to follow signals. We're not a signals group, right? We are teaching you. Yeah, we do live trading. Yeah, we give you the thought processes. Yeah, we give you the plans, but we're doing this to help you educationally. We're not not trying to give out signals here. Of course, actually a fairly large amount of people come into the group. They search for the signals. They don't enjoy it and they move away. And that is what it is. But the people that come in with the right mindset of, I want to come in to Chart Champions, view it almost like a university degree. You come in here, you have an eagerness to learn, to study, to improve. You're going to make so many mistakes and so many losses, yeah? Because that's part of learning. You cannot expect to, join Chart Champions and then instantly you're winning, 80% of your trades and everything's magic. Why didn't I just join and get this free money? No, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to mess up. It's going to be a hard process. It's going to be a several year process. Even with our help, it's going to take time. You cannot expect to come in for a month and learn experience. It's just not possible, right? It takes time. So you mix the theory with the practice, with that, trading, learning from your mistakes, building your statistics, building up your confidence, and then it's a gradual curve, but you will eventually come out the other side like full of full of profits, right? That's the goal. And yeah, I just wanted to end there with that little bit of a talk for you all. I truly hope you've enjoyed the videos, right? I make these videos to help you. It's as simple as that. And that's the one and only reason why I'm here right now, is because I know that my guidance is helpful. And so I just hope people listen closely to it. And that's the most I can ask for. If you listen closely, I know that you can learn, and I know that we can help. So, yeah, I thank you for paying attention. And maybe if you're interested in more, we'll see you across in the Discord or in the Chart Champions website, where you get access to all the Discord, to the live streams, and everything in between, right? All the education. So, yeah, if that's of interest, you know where to get it. I hope it's made sense what I'm looking for next, why I haven't shorted, and why I remain looking for higher. I'll make my next informed decision. I thank you all ever so much. Hope you've enjoyed. And that's me signing out. Cheers, everybody. Goodbye.